Hey, good morning, Bucks County. What's going on out there? It's been a few days since my return from Denver. Long Denver trip back to Pennsylvania, and I will do an update on that I promise. Anyways, today we've got something really cool coming your way. And are you ready for this? This group I found by accident. I was actually attending Sellersville Theatre, the live events that they're doing, and they have this sound booth, and it's really cool because I get to attend concerts, and I really miss the music. It's one of the things I absolutely really miss. I love my music. I listen to it 24/7. Yes, I do. I listen to it in my sleep. I love it. I grew up with it. I played guitar since I've been 5. So, anyway, this cool-ass group is the Cosmic American Derelicts. And I have George coming on here in a few minutes. So, the music that you're hearing in the background is one of their pieces. He's given me quite a few pieces to play on this podcast. So, we were going to do the interview with some of his music in the background. And he's going to talk about the group, the members, everything that's happened during the pandemic, how things have changed, how they've not changed, about live events. So stay tuned, everyone. We're going to have Mr. George come on here from the Cosmic American Derelicts. In the meantime, enjoy this tune. And for everyone's information, the Cosmic Derelicts have I think it's called, he can correct me on this, it's Rectopus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Rectopus. Yeah. Okay, Bucks, get ready. I'm gonna give George a call. You're gonna love this guy. He is so laid back. I had a short conversation with him on the phone, and he just reminds me of someone I used to hang around with when I was in my band playing days. Yeah, I was in a couple bands. I played guitar for 30 years. I'm super excited to have George on. So let's give him a call. I'm going to start dialing into him. We're going to give him a shout out here from Bucks. I hope he's ready for me. And I hope he's ready for this podcast because you know, you never know where these go. We kind of have an idea what we're going to talk about, but we just go with the flow. All right, let's give Georgie. Let's give him a call.
Hello.
Hey, George. George, this is Bucks County Bytes. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Martha?
I'm good. I'm so excited for you to be on here. You have no idea. I was like, I don't know. I'm getting nervous. I don't know. I shouldn't be nervous.
No, not at all. Why?
No.
Why? That's
You know, the music, I love music so much. I've been around it since I've been a kid, like 5 years old. I started learning I learned how to play guitar when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And I played 5 instruments. So music is in my blood. And my parents and my grandparents played piano and multiple instruments. And I learned the bagpipe, and I learned violin, flute, guitar, piano. And so it's like, when I found out, like I found you by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Sellersville Theatre. You know, they have the live events, and there you were. And I heard your music. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I love your music. I love it. And I was like, I gotta have him on there. Gotta do
thanks.
it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, it's not just my music. We all write. Everybody in the band pretty much writes.
Right, and that's what you're going to teach me, and you're going to teach listeners who you are, who are the band members, how you came about. So I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself and your band. Introduce us to who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm George Kapitanelis. I'm the bass player and one of the founding members of Cosmic American Derelicts. We are based out of Bergenfield, New Jersey. We've been a band since, I want to say, like the spring, early summer of '98, I think is when we did our first couple of gigs.
Wow.
And the current band members are myself on bass and Eddie Rainey on guitar and dobro. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays guitar, he plays dobro, he plays slide guitar,
Oh my gosh.
he plays lap, he plays mandolin, he plays banjo. He's a hell of a drummer. He's a hell of a bass player.
Oh my gosh, he does everything.
Oh my God! I mean, he don't play like horn, wind instruments, but pretty much any string instrument, he could play it like he was born to play it. And I'm not just saying that because he's in my band. Because even when he wasn't in my band, I know him since we were kids, and he was like, it featured in Bluegrass Unlimited when he was like 11 years old. For dobro.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And he comes from a very musical family. His father, Rich Rainey, is a great banjo player and a singer who's had a band in, I guess, they're based out of Jersey, called the Risky Business Bluegrass Band. And they've been around for at least 35, 40 years.
Oh, my gosh.
And his mom, was a singer and a dancer. So, his brother's an artist. His uncle's an artist. It's in the family,
It's in the family. It's in the blood. Yeah.
And then when him and his dad sing, it's that, when people that are brothers or sisters or families sing, they have a certain timbre or tone in their voice that can't be duplicated by people that aren't in the family almost.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like, that's why when you listen to like a lot of the bluegrass, they have a lot of brothers and stuff, and the way they harmonize, like the Louvin brothers. If you listen to the Louvin brothers, they have a beautiful harmony together, and it's like from the family. I don't know what, it's like that familial connection,
Yeah, it's true. I've heard that before. Yes.
And, once in a while, his dad will sit in with us on banjo. I mean, now his dad's getting kind of old, but, he used to sit in with us, fairly often, and like it'd be great because they'd be doing like all the high lonesome harmonies and the bluegrass and the country stuff.
That's gonna be awesome. The sounds.
And it's exactly, and it's also at least this is what I believe. I don't expect other people to believe what I believe, but like the people that are from that generation do the music more authentic because that was their music. Like
That's true.
The more it leaves from, like, let's say rock and roll started in 55, 56, the more it leaves from 1955, 56 to now, the less authentic it becomes because the people that created the grooves are gone. Now it's people imitating the grooves.
You know what? That is so true. I see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know because
and we're all disciples of I don't listen to anything that was recorded after like 1990, pretty much. You know what I mean? And like as much as we idolize those old cats, even like we don't get it exactly the way they got it because they invented it. We're just the secondary or the third generation, whatever
they
it would be.
invented that music from back when we were kids. We listened to rock, we listened to blues, we listened to authentic music. Go back to the Beatles, go back to the Rolling Stones. Things that we grew up with. That's what I learned how to play because I loved it. And then I got into the blues. I got into playing that, learning how to play those riffs. And it's something that they created it. We followed. We created our own music, but today's music, it just doesn't. You can't find it.
How can it be real if it's made on a computer?
No, it's so.
And everybody's relying on computers to make the beats.
Yeah.
Like the beat is human, right? Like music is human, or let's say animalistic, because some animals make music, birds make music,
right,
dolphins.
They do.
They make music, but I mean, it comes from a life, the spark of life. It doesn't come from pressing a button.
No.
And I think that's the big problem with music today is that you got computer nerds making music that they're not musicians.
They're not.
No. And I'm not saying it doesn't take a talent to sit there and put beats together and all that. I'm not knocking it, but I'm a musician. I sweated, I paid dues. We all did. Like we slaved on our instruments for years and years to get to the level we're at, and we're not even that good compared to the greatest of the greats.
Yeah, but we put the years and the time in.
Yes, and the time and the passion, the love. Like I grew up with a lot of friends that were musicians, and after a while, they stop, they get married, they quit. But to persevere and keep going and keep pushing yourself to get better and to write better music and to play better music, it's a big dedication. It's like I dedicated my whole life to it.
It's in your soul. It's in your blood.
I mean, I quit my job 13 or 14 years ago and pretty much just been hustling music, and working stupid little jobs just to make ends meet because I want to be free. I want to get up in the morning and play guitar. I want to work and I was a cook for 20 something years, working 12, 14 hours a day and playing music, so I'd come home from work at 3 a.m. playing gigs, and then I'd take a shower and go to work at 6 a.m.
Yes, I know. A lot of my friends did that. They had these jobs. They worked hard. They worked long hours. They come home. They do their music. I mean, I still have friends today who are still doing that.
Because you love it. You only do it because you love it. You love it.
Right.
It's the only thing that makes me happy in my life. Consistently happy.
Music
always,
makes people happy. We need it. I mean, when I drive across the country, and I still do, I still have these long trips that go from Denver to Pennsylvania. We just listen to music. We listen to different bands. In fact, my mother-in-law, who is the volunteer at Sellersville, Cindy, she listened to your music. We listened to it on the way back, and she's like, "Oh wow, she really loved your music." She goes, "I don't remember. I don't know if I was there that night." She's like, she goes, "You're gonna have them on the show?" Yeah. You gotta check them out. This is a great.
Well, you know what else though? When we've played there, we played Sellersville. Counting the podcast, I think 5 or 6 times.
Oh wow!
The first 3 or 4 were as openers, and the one we did in February, we headlined the gig. It was like a tribute to outlaw country and honky tonk.
Yes. Oh my
so
gosh.
We headlined there, and then now we just did the podcast. I mean the live stream.
Yeah, that's where I saw you.
We played there with 3 different singers.
Oh my
so
gosh.
your mother-in-law might have saw us with a different singer.
She might have. Yeah, she might have. Yeah, she's definitely gonna. I know she's watching. She is watching the live shows too. I don't know if she was on that night or not, but the one guy, Bill Slade, who actually I think, from what I understand, he's married to the woman Dawn who actually runs that over at Sellersville. So I'm sure she was there. She's there a lot. So yeah. Very very cool place. I love.
Oh, it's one of my favorite places to play. I mean, they treat the bands really well.
Yeah.
They're very respectful, and they run a top-notch place, and they're very friendly. Sometimes you go play in venues and they act like they're like the venues, the people that run the venues act like they're the artists or something like that.
No. You don't need that.
Yeah, and Sellersville they're just chill, very nice people. They're always accommodating, absolutely. And they run a tight but fun ship.
So now, how many people are in your group then? How many members do you have?
Okay, so this is the deal. When we first put the band together back in the late 90s, I was in a band called the Bleeding Hearts, and Eddie and our original singer, Brian, were in this band called Northern Comfort. And we were like Bergen County's original. We played a lot of original music. I mean, we played covers too, but we were mostly, both bands played a lot of originals. And Northern Comfort was mostly country music, and the Bleeding Hearts were kind of heavy blues, like Allman Brothers, Hendrix, like that. We used to have this John Ginty, who's a pretty well-known organ player. He used to
John, you had Ginty with you?
Yeah, John Ginty was in our band. He was, he plays with Allman Betts band now.
Yeah.
He's played with the Dixie Chicks. He's played with everybody. He used to be in our band back in the late 90s, and he actually still plays on my records whenever I need an organ.
Okay.
I'll have him sit in and do the tracks. So out of those two bands, like we both knew we used to play with other cats, and like, so me and the singer Brian from Northern Comfort, we were in the bar one day, and we were like, dude, let's put a little side project together to get all our buddies that aren't in bands to get out to play music, because we had a lot of friends that were musical, but they weren't at the time in bands or whatever. So we put the Derelicts together kind of as a side fun thing, like let's just go to the bar and play a couple of songs. I know this tune, let's go up and jam and have fun. And we were all pretty good musicians, so we could swap in and out with different guitar players and singers and stuff like that.
So is that where you came up with the name, the Derelicts? So you have this cool name, Cosmic American Derelicts.
The name came out while the Bleeding Hearts had rented a bus, and we were going to go to the New York City to do a gig at Arlene Grocery. And a bunch, we actually, people had to pay, whatever it was, $10, $15 to get on the bus. So we had the bus packed, and the singer from Northern Comfort, Brian Murray, we were out in front of my mother's house, because at the time I was still living at home. And we're all walking out of my mother's house, and we're all long hairs and of ill repute to a degree, I guess, And he's and he looks at everybody's like, you guys look like a bunch of derelicts. So we were like, we laughed about it, whatever. And then like a year later, when we were putting the band together, we were like, why don't we just call it the Derelicts? Because I remembered what he had called us that day.
Yeah.
So we laughed about it, and we were like, yeah, sure, we'll call it the Derelicts. So for like the first maybe 8-9 months, we were the Derelicts. And then somebody sent me a cease and desist letter saying that they owned the name, the trademark, to the Derelicts. So I'm not gonna go to court over a name of a band, especially I didn't have any right to, because I didn't have it trademarked or anything like that. So. But I was damned if I was going to change the name of the band, because it just fit who we were. We're all a little, we were all delinquents when we were kids. We're all fine, upstanding people now, but we were all like, greasers, and used to get into stupid little town trouble and stuff like that.
Sure.
Back in the day, yeah, exactly.
Something like that, right?
So it just fit us. It fit who we were personality-wise. So I said, well, let me think about this. And we were always really big Graham Parsons fans, huge Birds and Graham Parsons and the Flying Burrito Brothers, New Riders, like that whole California country scene. And Graham used to always say, when people used to say, oh, you play country music, Graham was like, man, I don't play country music. I play Cosmic American music.
Oh, that's
I always thought that was really hip, because we always had the same attitude as like Graham did, where we're predominant. We lean country and southern, but like we'll play blues, we'll play a reggae song, we'll play a rock song, we'll play anything, and sometimes, and a lot of times, we'll do it like country style.
Yeah, you do.
We used to do.
Unique,
I'm sorry.
You have a cool, unique sound. That's what drew me to it, because I love the blues, I love country, I love the mix.
Yes. That's what we love that, and we used to do Immigrant Song by Zeppelin, and we used to like do it as a double time country song.
Do you?
And with the guitar player doing like the the Robert Plant screams and stuff on the steel, and it used to people would go crazy. They'd be like, I can't believe you guys are doing Immigrant Song country,
No, I've got to have to find that, because I have to hear that now.
This is years ago. I don't know if it's not on the internet, but if we do it again, I'll send you a copy.
Oh, you have to send me a copy if you do it. I want to hear that.
But that was always our attitude. Like, I don't care if it's an R&B song or whatever. It's all good music. It's a Cosmic American music. It's the way we want to do it.
That's
that's kind of so I made the band. I changed the name to that, and then I trademarked the name, so I own the trademark now.
Oh, you good. It's your name.
And that's the story of how the name happened. So the original members of the band were myself, Ed Rainey, my neighbor and one of my oldest friends, Mike Core, Brian Murray. There was 3 guitar players originally. My brother, George Kapitanelis, on drums, and our current drummer, Satiri Carlos, on congas. So that was the original lineup of the band for the first gig. And then also my friend and the singer from the Bleeding Hearts, Joe Wilkinson, was in the band as well, but he'd come up and do like, 4 or 5 tunes. He wasn't like full in the band, because it was just so many guitar players,
Wow.
So, but like I said, the band was put together to have fun, to feature each songwriter's stuff that they weren't doing in their own bands.
That's funny. You guys started for fun, and how many years later? Look at you guys. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
and it's funny because the other two bands, like within a year, both broke up, and so we went from like being like a 6-piece or whatever we were down to like my brother ended up got a job. He's does MRI, so he got a good job. He was working nights. He had to drop out.
Oh man.
Like my other buddy Mike, he got like really bad carpal tunnel, so he had to drop out. And so we kind of morphed into a 4-piece with me, Eddie, Satiri, who are still in the band now, and Brian Murray.
Okay.
And Brian at the time was the principal songwriter of the band. So we did our first album, just called Cosmic American Derelicts with Brian, and he sings all the vocals with Eddie doing the harmonies. And about a year after that, maybe not even a year, like he had gotten married, and his wife was just not into him playing with us. I really don't know like the whole situation to this day.
Okay.
But he came to the conclusion that he couldn't be married and play in a band.
Oh no, that became a
So
problem.
he stepped out, and so then at the time my buddy Joe Wilkinson, was in the Bleeding Hearts, he was playing with Neil Casal, and he had just got off the road with the Neil Casal band, which John Ginty was in, and John Hummel. They were all like really great New Jersey musicians, these guys, and they got off the road with Neil. And so I was like, Joe, man, I got like, at the time, we were doing like, 6-7 gigs a month. We were doing like a lot of gigs.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, I need you to come in and fill in, because I need, we're touring, and not touring, but we were just playing a lot of like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, like the Northeast,
Yeah, you
doing
did the
like
Northeast quarter up here, yeah.
Exactly, and so Joe joined in for like a year, and it wasn't really working out. Like he kind of wanted it to be like the Bleeding Hearts, and we kind of wanted him to be Brian. And it just, like we parted ways. Let's put it that way,
Okay.
And then after that, I had got a girl singer, this girl LaToya Williams, who was the backup singer in Kool and the Gang.
Oh wow.
And
cool.
I met her like real freak in the bar, and I'm sitting next to this girl in a bar, and I just smoked a joint. And she's like, man, you reek. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, you reek. And I'm like, yeah, well, I just smoked a joint. So we started talking. And she's like, yeah, I just got off the road with Kool and the Gang, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, cool, man, that's great. I was like, I'm in a band, and we started talking. And at the time, I just started writing with my friend who had come out of the Marines. His name is Danny Pavis. That's the guy that you saw singing for us at Sellersville.
Okay.
So I started writing songs with Danny, and they were much more like they were not country at all, or like Southern rock at all. They were more like funk R&B kind of like R&B kind of songs, funky rock. I don't know what you'd call it. So
yeah,
then
I love that sound. I love the R&B funk.
Yeah, so our second album is called The Product, and that album features LaToya on like half of the record, and Joe Wilkinson came back and we did a bunch of Joe songs. So it's half the album's her and half the album's him, and she sings I think on 1 or 2 songs with him as well.
I'll have to check that out because I was on your Spotify. I have you on there. It's like, oh, you got a bunch on there, and I've got to listen to them. To them all.
So that's the second album, and we recorded that at Electric Ladyland Studios in the city of Jimmy's, and that was like, that was like a priest giving mass at the Vatican, it was like, it was, religious experience, like when we would finish, we slept there for 4 days. We didn't go home. We just locked ourselves in the studio through the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And, we were living in the studio, and, the engineer, who was a good friend of mine, his name is Chris Petro, he would like access the vaults, and he'd pull out the old tapes, and we were listening to like Zeppelin tapes and like Jimi Hendrix tapes, and like through the big boards, the big Neve, and it was just like, it was like a scholar finding original Shakespeare,
Oh, it's unbelievable. Those are the classics. Oldies and oldies, but great musicians, great bands. We can't get that sound anymore. It's hard. I mean, just can't get the people out there making that music. But
because those old guys, all the old engineers are gone. The art is gone. People don't know how to splice tape.
No.
You have to do a splice to edit. Nobody knows how to do that
Nobody knows how to do that.
There's like 5 people alive that know how to do that these days.
That's why it's so cool having you on here, because you've got this cool sound, and you've got that. You remember back in the day all the good groups. You're out there.
Yeah, I mean, my musical collection. I mean, I have probably at least 3,000 CDs and like another, 12, 1,300 vinyl, and not to count all the bootleg tapes
you still got
that
vinyl? You got all those?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I still got a lot of vinyl,
I have to ask you, do you still have, you would have an 8-track tapes yet, do you?
I have 8 tracks, but I don't have a player.
No, another player, I don't know.
It's hard to find the players.
Yeah.
They were junk.
Yeah, they were, but I still have them yet. I still have them from my sister's. My sister and I had the cassette, the 8-track, the LPs, and the old record players yet.
Yep.
So, yeah. It's like something you just can't part with it, because that was like the music that we had when we were kids.
Well, it's music. Who wants to throw away music?
No.
Like I had a flood in my basement a few years ago, and all my tapes got trashed. And I was like, oh man, I remember when I bought this tape back in 8th grade, and like they have memories to them.
Yeah, you want memories too, because music meant something to you like every day. You just go back to hear it, like, oh yeah, I remember what I was doing back then.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean Saturdays.
Woven into us.
Pretty much for 25 years of my life, on Saturdays I was in a record store.
Yeah.
Every Saturday I'd be in a record store for like 2 hours, talking to the guy behind the counter about music and looking through records and buying records. I mean, until they close the record stores, there's barely any left.
Music has so much. I mean, if people would listen to more music, I think we'd have a happier.
But music has been like dumbed down so much that the music doesn't really mean anything anymore.
No, and they
like,
took
listen,
it out
like
of
you
schools.
could go.
The schools don't have the programs anymore. Do
you remember
I know.
Art is very important, but it's always the first thing that's cut from the budget.
It is. They cut the art and the music, and they should, because it helps people's brains. It helps with their thinking.
Yes.
It helps them memory.
It helps you become a full-rounded human being too, having an appreciation for art and literature and music. I mean, it makes you more intelligent. It does. It's
proven that. Science has proven that. It's fact. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me. I mean, you're producing how much music? Like, what are you doing right now during this pandemic? Are you still doing these live shows with?
Well, we just it's hard to follow. Like, we're like pretty much past being like a bar band, so we don't really go out and do those kind of gigs anymore.
Okay.
So we like over the last maybe 4 or 5 years, we've gotten into playing theaters and supper clubs and stuff like that. But most of them aren't open; they're not doing anything.
Yeah. So how are you managing that right now?
I'll be honest. We've exploded writing. I mean, since the lockdown, all I've been doing is I wake up in the morning, I pick up my guitar, and I play till 5 in the afternoon.
Wow.
There's nothing else to do, and I don't even play guitar. I play bass, but I've been playing guitar so much just out of something to do, to learn something else, to push myself to do something.
Okay. So you're writing more? Is that what are you?
Yeah, I mean, between me and Danny, and then our singer. So there's other guys in the band. So it's me, Eddie Satiri. Danny's in the band. He has rejoined us because he didn't play with us in the band for probably a while, since 2004. But he would sit in once in a while, but he wasn't a member of the band.
Okay.
And over the last couple of years, he's kind of come back into the fold. So that's the 4 of us. And now we have a singer and another guitar player. His name is Scott Lauro, and he's from upstate New York. And he wasn't at the gig the other night, but he's the guy that sings the majority of our music. And he also writes a lot of songs.
Okay.
So between me, Scotty, and Danny, we have almost 45 songs to record.
Oh my gosh, you guys have really been writing a lot.
Yeah, over there. This is over pretty much maybe the last year we've written all these songs.
Wow.
And I've been writing a lot of I don't know what you call them, R&B instrumentals, like Booker T and the MGs style kind of music as well. So I'm doing a whole side R&B project where that's going to be bluesy and R&B based, not country and southern rock based as well.
Wow.
So that's what all we're doing. We're pretty much Steely Danning it. We're just pretty much going to lock ourselves and then just record.
So you guys are you Zooming together?
No, we all get together.
Get together. Okay. So
we listen. Everybody quarantined till the beginning of May, except for me and Danny. Me and Danny were getting together every day.
Okay.
Because he lives around the corner from me, and I think half of this shit is bullshit to begin with. To be honest with you.
Well, a lot of people do. They have half people are wearing masks, half people aren't.
And listen, I know it's a bad thing. I'm not minimalizing the effect that this thing has had on people's lives and that it's killed people, because I know people that have had it and also people that died from it.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't they definitely politicized it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we know that. And I know people keep saying, well, after the election, you're going to see it go away. I mean, I heard a lot of people talk about it, yes and no. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen after this election.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but so your guys are getting together. You're really...
So we started getting together in May, and so we're just pretty much we started recording at the end of July. We've done about 5 weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a couple days every other week.
Okay.
Since July, pretty much, and we've got I want to say maybe about 20 songs, bass and drums done. We haven't done the guitars or the vocals, just the rhythm sections.
Okay.
We got together, and in November we're going to start doing the Scotty material, the stuff with Scotty, his material. And
so you're putting another. I guess you're putting another. You're probably going to put another one out then, right? You've got a.
Well, we're going to do a double. We're doing a double Derelict album.
Okay.
We're going to do. This is what my goal is. All this stuff that I have in my head. We recorded. We wrote these 2 ska songs with our original singer Brian Murray. So we're going to record a double-sided single with the ska songs as a 45.
Gotcha.
Then we're going to do a double Cosmic American Derelicts album that'll feature Scotty's songs, my songs, Danny's songs, and some of Brian's songs.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
Scotty will be singing the Brian songs, with Brian maybe singing one of the songs.
And when do you think? Do you think that's going to be out sometime come fall?
I'd say within the next 2 years.
Next 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to start with we haven't even started that material yet. That's going to start in November.
Yeah, it takes time. Right.
I'm trying to finish my R&B record now, and we also started tracking stuff for like a little Danny's little solo project as well.
Okay.
So the next thing will be the Derelict stuff. So that'll be during this winter, and then you got to figure the winter we'll do it. By the summer we'll hopefully have it most of the tracks done and the vocals done.
Right.
Then hopefully by 2022 it'll be sometime then it'll be out.
Now, do you have a studio in your house? Do you have some place
yeah.
to go? You
yeah, I
in
do.
Your place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I have most of the gear. I have a friend who's an engineer, so he'll bring all like the vocals, like the what do they call the preamps and the plugins, and he's got a lot of vintage stuff like the compressing units and all of that.
That's very cool.
So he'll bring a lot of the vintage, like the more the recording gear. But I have all the vintage amps and the vintage drum sets, and
oh my gosh,
I have all that and the mixing boards and stuff in my house. So we kind of
tours
combine.
of your house.
Yeah, I know.
Some cool stuff. You can charge admission to come see your stuff.
and I got to be honest. Like, I mean, I've recorded in some really nice studios, and like for what we do, we get really good recordings in my house. The sound, the vibes. I mean, that house is a musical house. It has a great vibe to it. So, people come here, we record. The stuff sounds really good. I'll tell people like engineers that'll listen to it, be like, man, you recorded this in your house. It sounds great.
Wow.
I mean, sometimes when you if you're certain sounds, you need a bigger room. Like you need a professional place. And like sometimes I will go use a bigger room. I have friends that own studios, so. But for the most part, if it's like the rootsy country stuff,
we
do it all here.
Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. Now everything you got everything on your website. You have an Instagram. I guess you have an Instagram.
No, we only have Facebook and a website. That's it.
Okay, so you got. What I'll do is when I create this podcast, all those are going to be on the podcast, and it's going to go all across social media, and it also becomes a YouTube. That for those people who cannot listen through a streaming service, they do listen to a YouTube, which they can. They can have an account now free, so they'll be able to listen to this on all avenues. So we can have I'm going to put all your clips on there. Like if there's an intro and an outro, and then I'm going to have music. One of your tracks is going to play in the background of this interview.
Cool.
So it's very cool that people can hear your sounds and I've been getting a lot of people out there on this podcast, and maybe we'll get some new listeners.
It'd be great.
Purchasing your music and listening to you. So that's always the idea. It's like got to get your music out there.
Thanks for having me on. We're all about the music. That's it. It's all about the music. We all live for it. We're like I said, we've been together for 22 years, and we all love each other. We don't do it for money. We do it because we love music, and we love playing together. We're all brothers. Like none of these guys, none of them are my family, but they are my family.
They are your family. Oh, they are your family. If you've been playing together for a long time, they're a family.
Yeah, we're family. I mean, like we're all family, and like nobody gets like if one guy wants to sing or you know what it is like. Everybody's has families now and stuff like that. So like sometimes my singer, one guy can't make it. Well, I got somebody else that'll fill it. And even like my original guy, Mike Core, who's my neighbor, he comes in and he's like more of a blues guy. And we have a whole like blues show with him that we do. With the other guy, with Danny, we have all his world Latino rock music.
Wow, that's a close family.
And actually my buddy Joe Wilkinson, he's actually been in California for the last 12 years. He's coming out next week to do they're doing a tribute record for Neil Casal, and Neil Casal they're putting together his old band to do a couple of tracks. So Joe's coming into town next week, so I'm gonna have him record a bunch of stuff of my stuff that I'm recording. So he's back in the fold. But we're all brothers, you know. We just want to play and make good music, you know.
Yeah, you want to make people love music, and they do. You need people out there to listen to this and everything that's out there. Not so much electronic music, but the traditional way we create music. The love.
Yes.
I mean, you pour your love into it, you pour your heart and your soul into it, and you can hear it. I can hear it.
Well, that's what we always go for. We don't go for perfection. We go for feel and soul.
I was listening to you this morning, and I mean early, 7 o'clock this morning. It's like, you know, now it's something new. I can listen to all your tracks when I have to drive. I mean, I have to take a Penske truck, a 26-foot truck to Florida Thursday. So I get to hear all of you. I get to hear every track of you. So
and I saw you like the Hillbilly Water stuff, huh?
I just found it. Like, I was going, I go on your Facebook and like, wow, it's like, all right, wait, he likes that. He's got this. This is new music to me. I haven't heard this. So I'm finding new things. I love finding new music. And
well, Hillbilly Waters, me and Eddie, we have a bluegrass band that we're like, not a bluegrass band, I'd call it like a acoustic band that plays mountain music.
I like that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, me too. And we used to play. I mean, we were like, they love this in Pennsylvania because we used to like a lot of like in Jersey. There's not much bluegrass venues,
but
so we used to go play out like the NEPA Bluegrass Society and Appalachian Bluegrass Society. We used to play there all the time. We play the festivals and stuff. And like I got to say, and like this is, I'm not just saying this because your listeners are from PA, but the people in PA are salt of the earth, man. Yeah. I mean, we've done gigs in PA, like, you know, and like they'll bring it, like when we played this one gig in Pennsylvania, and we were partying all the night before at the campground, and the band in the next morning that was supposed to open, they had like their car broke down and they couldn't make the gig. So they come to us at like 9 in the morning. They're like, do you guys mind opening this show? And we were up to like 5 in the morning, you know, partying, you know, picking and partying. So I'm like, oh my God, okay. So we ended up going up. We did it. You know, we had fun. We did it. We got through it. Everybody liked it. We go back to the campsite. This lady comes and she's got a bucket of fried chicken that she just made. And she's like, here, I want to give this to you guys for, you know, like helping us out. And I'm like, who? Like, this lady's like the nicest lady. Then some other people gave us like brownies. And I'm
that's
like,
the way we are in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, such nice people, you know. Like, I mean, the bluegrass community in general, like, they're some of the nicest fans and like music-loving fans, you know.
Well, you know what? I think it is because I have a farm background. Like, I grew up on a farm. We raised 18,000 chickens and tons of crops. But we were
my grandfather was a farmer.
It's just something to do with that. You know, we're farmers. We love the ground. We love everybody.
Yes,
we just love people. We love the earth.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though I was born in Jersey, I wasn't there very long. But, you know, and it's just something about that music and people wanting to help feed you. They'll take the shirt off their back.
Hospitality.
You know,
it's hospitality.
They'll help you. It is. It's hospitality.
Yeah, like I mean, I've done thousands of gigs. You know, I played all over. We've gone to Europe, the whole nine. And honestly, it's some of the nicest fans are bluegrass fans, man. Like country and bluegrass fans. Like, you know, we went down to Nashville to do some a Graham Parsons tribute.
Oh, that's cool that you did that.
And we did it 2 years in a row down there, and then we did another one up in Boston. And you know, we were playing. I can't think of the name of the venue. But it was a really big place outside the new Opryland. You know, like outside Opryland. I can't think of the name of it.
Outside Opryland,
But it's a famous venue. A lot of people have played there. And we were playing there. I think it's called the Nashville Palace.
Okay.
And we were playing there. And, you know, we had all these these rednecks, you know, like, you guys are from Jersey. You know, what the hell do you know about country music? It's totally... So we went up and played, and we killed it, you know? And we got off the stage, and the guy's like, man, he's like, you guys sure you're from Jersey? And I looked at him, I'm like, man,
exactly.
I was like, music is universal. It doesn't matter where you're from. I was like, as long as you love it, bro. I was like, I'm an American just like you are. Just because I'm from Jersey doesn't mean I don't like Merle Haggard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's what people do. Like, oh, you're from PA. Oh, you're from Jersey. Oh, you're from Boston. It's like,
everybody judges you on because from where you are. It's like, yeah, but if good music transcends language and states and countries and religion and everything, you know.
Oh yeah, been to tons of concerts, and it doesn't matter where, because people do. They come from all over the country or all over the world. Music transcends to everywhere.
Everything. I mean, I've traveled. You know, I used to travel around to go see the Dead. I've been like to half the states in the country because of the Grateful Dead. I flew to Spain to see the Stones. You know, like I love music.
Oh my gosh, you flew to Spain to see the Stones?
Yeah, me and a bunch of my friends went to Spain and saw the Stones. It was great.
I'm not worthy of the ground you work. You. Oh my gosh, that is like a dream to travel to go see the Stones like that. Oh, yeah. They were down in Philly not too well. They were down in Philly.
Yeah. I saw them last year in Jersey, and
they were down
I never saw them in Philly. I saw them in Pittsburgh in 2013.
Yeah, you got to see them now because they're getting up there, and one of these years they're just not.
Hey, by the time this pandemic is over, those guys could all be in their 80s.
Yeah, they are.
You got to figure. I mean, other than Ronnie, but like Mick's 78, Keith's about the same.
Yes. Yeah,
Charlie's, I think, 80 now.
He is. I think he might be 81. I'm not
sure.
Yeah,
I think he's 80, 81. You know, so I mean,
yeah.
How much can you swing at that age, man? You know.
Hey, they're still going. I mean, that's what amazes me. You know, from the groups from back then, they're still going.
Well, but also because they have so many great songs. Yeah. If they only had one or two hits, they wouldn't be. They might still be going, but they would be playing like Sellersville Theatre.
Yeah, smaller.
They're filling stadiums because every song that they play is a top 10 hit.
Yes.
You know, everybody knows those songs.
It's the Stones. You know,
exactly. You know,
that's right. You got the Who and the Stones and the Beatles. I mean, they're just great groups from back then. You know, Led Zeppelin. God, I can't imagine how many songs I played from all those groups. All the years of playing guitar and playing these bands and stuff. Yeah.
Same here.
I am so happy that we were able to talk and just. You know, you bring it back, bring that classic music back to everybody. It's awesome.
Speaking of Zeppelin, I played with this. We back up this singer since 2007. His name is Terry Reid. I don't know if you know who Terry Reid is.
Sounds a little familiar. Tell me who he is.
Terry Reid is an Englishman. He did his first tour with the Stones in '65, I think. He toured with Cream on their farewell tour. He toured with the Stones on the Get Your Ya-Ya's tour. He played the Isle of Wight. So he's he's not very well known in America, but in England he's semi-well known. He's not famous, but he's semi-well known. Let's put it that way.
I mean, you're touring with the greatest groups out there.
He was asked to sing. He was the first guy Jimmy Page asked to join Led Zeppelin, to sing for Led Zeppelin.
Oh my gosh.
But he had just inked a deal to go on the Ya-Ya's tour in 68. Wow. So he told him, he's like, "Hey Jimmy," he's like, "I'm down. I'd love to do this. I'd love to put a band together with you." Jeez. But I just signed a 50 gig tour. I won't be back for 3 months. If you wait and I'll come back, well, I'm totally down to do it. You know. And Page is like, look, the Yardbirds just finished. They still had one tour still to do. Under contract as the Yardbirds. So he's like, I kind of need to put the band together now to honor the contract.
Right.
So Terry's like, well, if you're if you're hurrying to find somebody, he's like, I know a really great singer that's opened some gigs for me. I should hook you up with him. And Jimmy Page is like, well, what is this guy? And Terry's like, well, this guy looks like a Greek god, and he sings like Janis Joplin. You got to check this guy out. And he's like, and he also has this great drummer in the band. So Terry, in a backwards kind of way, set up Led Zeppelin.
Wow, that is so amazing.
And to this day, like Robert Plant, like him and Robert are still real good friends. And like, I missed. We did a tour with Terry like 4 years ago, and I missed Robert Plant by 1 day.
Oh my gosh!
Because we were doing a tour with Terry, and then we broke off and did our own tour, and he finished, did a couple of solo gigs. And I missed it by 1 freaking day. And I'm like, Zeppelin's my favorite band.
My God. I love Zeppelin. Like I said, I love all those bands. I have no idea.
But I've got but through Terry, I mean, we've been playing with Terry since 2007, and we've done I'd say about 100 gigs, give or take, with him over that time period. And he's like we're like best friends. Like he lives at my house. When he comes here, he stays at my house.
That's probably why I know that name, because see, I was big fans of Zeppelin and all these groups, and I used to study the bands way back.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, because I was playing guitar, I wanted to know everything about these guys. And that's probably where that Terry Reid name came out.
Check out the first 4 Terry Reid records. The first one I think is just check them out. Just go Terry Reid, and his first 4 records are brilliant records. I don't know. I mean, if you read his story, I don't really want to get into his whole story right now, but if you read his story, he's like he should write a book of what not to do in the music industry.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
everything bad that can happen in the music industry happened to Terry. Because he should be a household name.
Yeah, he would probably have a number one seller if he went and did something like that.
Yes, yes.
He should definitely. If
Yeah.
he can't, doesn't have time for it, get a ghostwriter to do it. He could do that. That'd
Well,
be
he's
great.
actually in the middle of like putting a book deal together, so
Oh,
we'll see what
good,
happens.
good. Oh, that would be great. I'd like to see it too. And you guys too. I mean, you guys put a book together of everything you've been through. My God, there's something you can work on while you're writing music. Put a book out there while you're at it. Well, I really appreciate your call today. I'm glad you took the time away from your music, and that's a hard thing to do. So you took time away from your writing, from just getting out there and playing. So
Well, I like talking about music too. We don't have to talk about my band. We can talk about any band you want. I love rock and roll.
That's great. And tell the other guys I appreciate you being on here and talking about everybody. We're going to get you out there. You're going to get promoted. You're going to be all over social media, and you'll see yourself on Facebook as promoted too. You'll see yourself.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm banned from Facebook for like a month.
Oh no! Tell me you're not.
Yeah, I probably said something that somebody didn't like. I'd go off. But you know what's funny? Like, I don't consider myself liberal or conservative. I'm kind of like middle of the road, common sense. So like, I'll rip people that are on the right, and then and they'll come back immediately and be like, "Oh, you're a liberal." Then I'll rip people on the left, and they'll come back and be like, "You love Trump, and you're a conservative."
That's
and I'm
why
like, "No, I just have eyes and a brain that I can think independently of a party." You know
and
what
you
I mean?
got Facebook banned because of it.
Yeah, I probably ripped somebody or did something.
Did,
that's,
because my one friend just got banned for the same thing. She's doing the same thing. It's like, wait a minute, she has a new account, a new fake account. I'm like, oh
yeah. I said I could do a month without it. It's no big deal.
Yeah, it's no big deal. But I have your Facebook page for your
band. You could post the links to whatever you want on there.
Yeah, I will. I'll actually put the links on. I'll put the YouTube link on there, and you'll get everything. Like, I'm on every platform out there, including Amazon Music. So that's really cool.
Thanks.
So it'll be
next time we're. And I'm hoping like by the spring or late winter we get something back at Sellersville.
I hope
so if we do, I'll put you on the guest list and come and say hello.
Oh my God, that'd be fantastic! Oh, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited. You stay cool. Be the best man you can be. Make the best music you can, and I'm looking forward to listening to you and coming to your show when we get out of this crazy pandemic crap.
Cool. Yeah, and all our, if you want to hear us, all our stuff's on Spotify.
Yes,
I think the Derelicts have. Yes. Right now we have 4 records out, and actually I did a record with Terry Reid actually, but I'm shopping it for a deal, so I haven't. It's not out yet.
It's not out there yet.
But that'll be our 5th record, but it's not out yet.
Okay.
So I'll keep you posted when it comes out, and then like I said, if you go. I have a Soundcloud page, George Kapitanelis.
Oh yeah, I was looking for you. Yeah, Soundcloud.
If you go on there, there's a bunch of the songs that I did with Terry on there as well.
Okay, I'll check out your Soundcloud.
So you can hear that, and you can hear what he's about. And like I said, check Terry out. You're gonna call me up and be like, "Wow, I can't believe I never heard this guy."
I will put your Soundcloud on there too. I'll put your Soundcloud, anything that you're connected to, I'll put on there, so everybody has those links. They can check you
great.
Out. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're welcome. You have an awesome day and keep making amazing music. Okay.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right.
God bless.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So everybody, that was George from the Cosmic American Derelicts. That was such a cool interview. Oh my God. I can't believe how they're so connected to the old, fantastic, classic music. And just all of that are just what they mean. What the music is woven into their souls, into their blood, and they play like it too. Their music is very awesome, and I want you to all listen to their music on Spotify. It's on Amazon. I'm sure it's on all platforms. I'm on all platforms. We're gonna get you out there connected to their music, and they will appreciate you listening. And make sure that you follow them everywhere on Spotify, their Soundcloud, and also their Facebook page, which you will have all the links to everything in my podcast. Everyone, I want you to have a great day, and everyone just enjoy George's music. Enjoy the Cosmic American Derelicts, okay? It's a cool band. I wish we could have had everybody on at the same time, but George has told you about all the band members and everybody they're connected to. Everyone have a fantastic day. Be well, be safe, and this is Bucks County Bytes over and out.